Hi, hello, Ippolyti. How are you?
Hello, I'm just fine.
Thank you for accepting my invitation to participate in this project.
It is a pleasure. So nice talking to you.
Okay, good people of the world, my name is Anja Milosavljevic and I'm going to be your host today. My guest today is a very dear friend of mine. She comes from Greece. Her name is Ippolyti, and she is a science girl. I hope you're going to enjoy in this conversation. Ippolyti, how do you say kalimera or kalispera?
Kalimera is good morning and kalispera is good afternoon. So we have to say kalispera now.
Kalispera. Okay.
Kalispera.
How are you?
I'm fine, trying to recover from the previous months. It was quite shocking for everybody. As you can imagine.
I know. It's something that happened to us all around the world. Can you tell us something about yourself? What do you do at the moment? What is your educational background? And is there any hobby or interest that you have that, I don't know, is standing out?
Okay. First of all, my full name is pronounced Ippolyti. It's hard for everybody to pronounce it, but anyhow, even for Greeks. I studied chemistry and then I followed my studies with a food science degree, a Master of Science in Food Science. So I consider myself to be a food chemist and everything in my job life are surrounded by food. So I used to work in my local university in several research and development projects. For new product development, and then I jumped to the dairy industry and work for the quality control department in northern Greece. Mm-hmm. And after several years of working locally, I thought that I had to make a small change in my life. So this year, I turned 30 years old. So I thought that would be a good idea to make some further steps in my professional life and make a new beginning. So here I am in Nicosia, the capital of the beautiful island of Cyprus, working as a food chemist in an analytical laboratory as well. And in the middle of the COVID outbreak. And this happens the last 6 months. So
sorry, you actually moved to Nicosia at the very beginning of COVID-19.
Exactly. I got a new job during the last days of February. So I moved in Cyprus on the 12th of this March. And the following 24 to 48 hours, the lockdown happened.
So was it stressful for you? I mean, it can be stressful even if you're with your parents or in your hometown or with your family. Mm-hmm. Was it stressful for you to just decide to change something in your life, to move to a different city, and then you're basically, I don't know, shut down from the world? Was that hard and stressful for you?
Well, at the very beginning, I was not that stressed because I was so excited to move to Cyprus and start a new job and get training and expand my professional horizons and make new friends and so on. So while everybody was talking about the COVID outbreaks, I was trying to avoid that noise and say, nah, it's okay. I will just move because I can do this right now. And then I did it one day before the Cypriot borders closed. So I was lucky that I got in this island. And after this, everything was closed. So at the very beginning, I was still excited. And it was not a problem for me at all. But practically, the days that came after my arrival here were really tough because the manager of the company called me one day after my arrival, and she said that you have to stay home in quarantine because you came from another country, and the government gave us, to each and every company, strict guidelines to the people that you hire from other countries. So you have to stay for a couple of weeks home and just stay safe and inside, and then we are going to be able to hire you. So I was quite disappointed, and I said, oh my God, I just packed my stuff and come here. I want to work to the new environment. And then I had to stay in quarantine. I was lucky because I booked an apartment the second day of my arrival. So I thought that that would be nice to take my time to settle in my new home. But with the local market lockdown and the public transport eliminated, it was impossible to settle down here the first days. And fortunately, I have a good friend here in Cyprus who helped me with the groceries. So that was the first step in the first week. Just some stuff and the groceries.
So you're a very brave young woman, I must say.
Hello, I had no choice. I had to survive.
Yes, that's true. So you work in a lab.
Yes, it is a limited company funded by Cypriot scientists, which runs a chemical and microbiological laboratory where several tests occur in food, feed, water, and other environmental samples. Because we also participate in several research programs, nationally and internationally. And of course, they give advice to individual clients. They cooperate with industries. They participate in problem solving for industries and agricultural issues. So there are plenty of activities in that company.
Can you tell us something about the state of agricultural industry in Greece and in Cyprus, if you have some information? Can you tell us what are the main products that you sell locally? Are there any products that you sell worldwide? Can you tell us something more about that?
Well, because there is a small difference in the climate between Greece and Cyprus. Cyprus is to Eastern Mediterranean. So as you can imagine, during the summer months, there is melting hot. So agricultural activities are not that many as in Greece. Agricultural activities are expanded in Greece the last years, so we have companies and industries that are focused in the Mediterranean diet, olive oil industries, wineries, dairy industries, like I used to work previously. And but in Cyprus, the conditions are quite different here because the climate is different and it is a small island. They only have 1 million people for population. So there is no abundance in food industries. They have pharmaceutical industries here, and that's really important. And food industries focusing on wine, olive oil, and this kind of stuff.
I know, because in Serbia we appreciate olive oil that comes from Cyprus, and we appreciate olive oil that comes from Rhodos Island in Greece. So, but I'm not sure that I know for any other product that comes from Cyprus. I'm not sure. Maybe halloumi cheese or something like that.
Halloumi cheese are so delicious. Halloumi cheese and wine as well. They have plenty of wineries here. And but in Greece, the abundance of the products is bigger.
Yeah, I know. Nice. So, is it boring to work in a laboratory?
Of
Is
course
it?
not. Every day is different. We make analytical tests for everything, whatever you can imagine: water, feed, food,
What kind
air
of
pollution.
tests? What kind of tests? Do you do sensory tests? Do you do tastings? Do you do
Analytical tests. I mean,
analytical tests?
we determine chemical substances or microorganisms that occur in food, harmful or not harmful. We just like mycotoxins are harmful substances. They conduct microbial analysis to food and water. And of course, we have to export lab reports according to the European legislation in order to say if something is safe to drink or to eat. So every day is different there, and this is the interesting part of our job. And as you can imagine, that was the reason that we didn't stop working. We were working constantly during the quarantine days, and I was from the lucky ones.
Oh, yes, you are. Okay, so can you tell us something about the state of entrepreneurship in Greece? Do young people, I don't know, found their companies? Is the startup ecosystem something that is developed? Is there any interest in doing that kind of stuff? Or is it basically family-owned companies and then young people are just inheriting their parents' business?
Well, there is one big problem in Greece the last years: the complicated and not attractive tax system. So that's why many young people have so many ideas, but the ground in Greece is not prosperous for investments because of that system. So either they come to Cyprus because the tax system is much easier and more attractive to set up a business, or go to the north. So we have plenty of people that have good education and many activities in their background, but they cannot invest in their own country, unfortunately. This kind of scenery in Cyprus is quite different because people here are more active. They set up businesses in high rate. Multinational companies also set their business offices here to have a base in the Eastern European. So things in Cyprus are going more smooth in this area. There is a huge difference between the two countries. We have the same origin, the same nationality, but the business scene is totally different.
So it's easy for you if you're from Greece. Well, you live in Thessaloniki and you go to Nicosia and just start your own business. Are there any kind of restrictions, like you have to, I don't know, deposit money to make insurance that you are not, I don't know, fraud or something like that? Or is it just easy? You come from Athens or Thessaloniki to Nicosia and just go to the registry and open your company. Is that easy?
It is easy. I'm not that sure about the process because I have
of
not
course
done
you're
this
not
before.
From that.
But I know many people that came here to set up their own businesses, and they mentioned this fact that it's much easier in Cyprus in contrast to Greece. I mean, the guidelines are easier, the taxes are much lower, so the practices are easier and smoother here. So it is easy to do this. But in Greece is very difficult.
Difficult. Well, that's too bad, because you can always have, well, from my point of view, you can have a lot of startups that are basically from agricultural business, because you have, I don't know, crops, you have fruits, you have olives, you have
That's true.
dairy products. You can have
That's true.
many startups or small scale businesses that do something innovative to the market and give something new to the market.
We have a lot of experienced people, but the tax system cannot allow small businesses to survive. So only the big businesses can survive and cope with that. And most of big businesses that go well in our economic system in Greece are the ones who export our products.
That's very interesting and very sad at the same time. Well, tell me, you wanted to make a change in your life and you came to Cyprus. How often do young people actually change the environment, leave Greece and go somewhere else? Is that a topic? Is that an issue for you and your people or from your generation? Or is it just your case? You decided to change something in your life?
No, most of Greek people in my generation thought of leaving Greece the last years because of the economic crisis, and they wanted to immigrate. So either they wanted to have some experiences abroad and come back to Greece and bring thoughts and ideas and experience and set up their lives back here, or start their lives somewhere else in order to have more opportunities, mostly in the professional way of looking at it. So most of people that study in Greece have done something in a short or a bigger period of time, such as a master degree or PhD, or they have worked abroad. And this is common. This is common for Greeks, and I think the most Mediterraneans. So now this is an issue and a topic to discuss about it with the COVID outbreak, because everybody wanted to do something abroad and broaden their horizons and come back to the local community and bring new stuff and ideas. And now, with that outbreak that happened the last months, they are reconsidering that. I mean, I was the lucky one who managed to reach another country and start a new life. But I have friends that have been already abroad, and they applied to come back to Greece because they wanted to be with their own people. And I have friends that they were planning to do a master degree abroad, and now they're going to stay locally and apply in local universities. The Cypriots are going to do this as well. And of course, there is a stigma when you come from countries with a lot of cases and COVID cases, I mean. So how easy is for a company in Northern Europe or wherever else to hire you if you come from a country of the South, or from a country where many cases and outbreaks happened the last period of time? So most of them, we are skeptical about it, and there is an intervention. I mean, they close themselves again in the country. I mean, it took us for so many years to be open for the Greeks to the world and gain ideas and experiences. And now this is really sad for us, because we lose our opportunities to go to the world and see things.
Where do you see a place for improvement? Do you see that things can change? And what do you think? What can be improved? I know many people from Greece, young Greeks. They are wonderful persons.
Thank you. We are.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're somehow closed in their local communities.
Mm-hmm.
They are not willing or not open to go somewhere. And as you said, to bring new ideas to the to local community. Is that something that is cultural, or why is that? Why do they choose to stay somewhere? Or there are either they leave Greece and never want to return, or they stay there and don't want to improve, develop, grow, whatever. So can you explain why is that?
Well, I think that it's a matter of education. Most people that have been educated in university degrees or went to professional schools and had the opportunity to see and meet other people and other cultures, they are more open to that kind of activities. But another issue here is that Greeks and Cypriots as well are focused on close family. I mean, we are raised like this, to take care of our own people, to stay close to the family, to continue the family businesses. It's something like that we have to do. We feel that we have to do, and we enjoy it. Continue being here, even though we complain all the time about the Greek situation. We love to hate our country and culture, but of course not. And it's really hard for us to go to the north, for instance, because of the cultural difference and the weather. I mean, we cannot live without the sun. I have some people in my closest environment who came back to the Mediterranean, not just Greece, but also in the Mediterranean country, because they couldn't stand the darkness and the bad weather. So there is a trend now, apart from the COVID crisis, to come back because they want to be close to their family and friends. We were raised like this. We love our people and we show it, and we have to be there in every case. I think it's part of how we grow up.
Well, so it's cultural. Okay. We met at the summer school in Warsaw last year.
1 year ago.
Yeah, actually it was a year ago. September, yeah. And I had a great time there. I met some wonderful people, you as well.
Thank you.
Can you tell us something about design thinking and new product development? Because at this moment in time in Serbia, we are talking about several topics. One of them is digitalization, and the other one is design thinking and product development, new product development. What do you think about new product development? Is it something that is very important while developing your own business or while working in a corporation, whatever? And what do you think about design thinking? Do you use design thinking in your everyday work?
I have to, because I have to find creative solutions all the time, and problem solving is part of my job. So I'm trained also to do that. Product development is a really important part in our lives. I can speak from the food,
please,
for the food part. In the Mediterranean, and especially in Greece, of course, the investments are not that going well the last period of time, but we want to stay local. We want to use local products in order to develop new food with high nutritional value. There is a trend the last years to use underutilized crops or food sources.
Can you explain what is underutilized crops for people who don't know what?
For
what that
instance,
is?
During my master's studies, when I was working in my local university, we tried to make flour from acorns. We have plenty of acorn trees, from oak trees in northern Greece, and they just give them to pigs to feed them. But it's a really nutritious crop, so we try to make flour from it because it's gluten-free by itself. So we were trying to enter this flour into gluten-free recipes and see the nutritional analysis or the sensorial analysis, if it was acceptable from customers and so on. So that is a trend in Greece as well. Personalized nutrition, because we have outbreaks in nutritional illnesses, diabetes, and so on.
Well, it's the same. Sorry, it's the same in Serbia, but I think it's the world trend. So,
yes,
yeah, it's not something that is typical for, I don't know, one region or one continent. It is all over the world.
But Greeks, because we love our land, we try to use our own products to create those trendy new products. I mean, we want to use olive oil in order to incorporate it in modern recipes. We want to use berries as well because of their antioxidants. We have an abundance of them. And that's our scope. I mean, we just take an insight of our agricultural products that are that occur only in Greece.
Do you find that to be a future of agro businesses? Like making innovative products that are locally based, like reducing carbon footprint because you don't have to import some resources from other part of the world. So
yes, it is. This is the future, because after the COVID outbreak, we have to turn into our local communities. So we have to change our mindset and use whatever we have here and grow whatever we can here in order to be to take care of our own selves and not import so much. So yes, that would be the next trend, I think, from globalization to localization.
Localization, yeah.
So that's the opportunity after the COVID outbreak, I think. That's something that will change our lives.
Yeah, that would be a new value or a new normal.
Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, yes, you haven't answered me about design thinking. What do you think about design thinking? What does that mean to you?
Well, the only thing that I can imagine and say is organizing my thoughts and ideas while working. That is what my supervisors try to train me to do in order to cope with all of this amount of work and find creative solutions in order to go through my routine day. So that's all I can think till now, because I'm still on training.
No, perfect. That's enough. What do we have to be afraid when the food safety is an issue? Like I'm a regular consumer. What should I be aware of? Like when I read nutritional value tables, what do I have to pay special attention to?
It depends of the way that you look at product. If you have diabetes, you have to check out the carbohydrate levels. or if the product can be spoiled, such as milk, you have to see the label and when is the last day that you can consume it. You have to have a well-organized fridge where to put the milk or the cheese or other stuff. You have
but
to.
Are the producers do they always practice good practices when producing some products? Like, do producers always keep in mind the end consumer of the product, or it's
Yes,
just
they have
profit?
to. They have to. They are obligated to, because the European Union has put and puts again and again strict guidelines and ISO standards about it. I mean, when I was working in the dairy industry, that was such a pain to follow the strict rules and guidelines, and the microbial aspects were really strict. You cannot send to the market something that has spoilage bacteria on it, in it. So yes, they have to take care of it. That's why they have quality control laboratories in the factories where I used to work before. And if they are small businesses or they are farmers, for instance, they can send samples to laboratories like that I work now, and check them for pesticides, antibiotics, and the laboratory is going to give a report according to the European legislation and say that, okay, your sample is clean from pesticides and you can trade it or whatever. And if not, he has to destroy that part of its production. So the legislation is really strict.
So do small producers or farmers in Greece or Cyprus, do they have to implement I don't know, IFS standard or any ISO standard that is dealing with food safety? Or do they just have to bring the samples to the laboratory and that's it? Do they have to implement it in their production facilities?
Yes, they have. They have. In order to set up this kind of production line, you have to be checked from some governmental services. And then if you want to export, you are obligated to follow this kind of standards and implement them, such as ISO.
Sorry, but even though you're a small producer or a farmer, you still have to follow those rules.
If you want to export, of course.
If you want to sell it locally?
Locally, only in the local community and not to an island or wherever. You are also obligated to follow the basic hygiene rules, and some auditors are coming from governmental services to check how you work. The rules are not that strict if you just want to spread locally the product, but the basic hygiene guidelines, it's obligatory to be followed by everyone.
And good production practices.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
So, do people see challenge and opportunity in enhancing their businesses by implementing some standards and trying to export to Europe or to the rest of the world? I'm thinking of small producers, not the big ones, not the dairy factory you worked for, but the smaller ones.
The smaller ones, if they want to export, as I said before, they have to make this kind of investment.
But do they see opportunity in that?
Yes, they see opportunity in that because they see money from that. So most of clients, let's say that we set up a business in Greece and we produce dairy products. If I find some clients in Sweden or in the UK the clients, in order to take, when I say clients, I mean retail stores or
buyers,
so
whatever. Yes.
So they are going to ask for those certificates. So firstly, I have to implement those kind of standards, and then I will be able to book that client. So that's how the deal goes.
But do they take that opportunity?
Yes.
Do
Otherwise, they cannot sell.
Of course. And does Greek government give them any kind of incentives when they want to introduce some standards, some internationally accepted standards? Do you know? Do you have any information about that?
As part of the European Union, Greece and Cyprus, businesses, either they want to export or just go locally, they have to follow this kind of guidelines. So the government obligates the producers to follow this kind of practices.
But do government give them any kind of help or mentoring help or help in terms of money to implement those standards that can be very expensive?
Yes.
Plus you have our audits, I don't know, on every second or every third year. So it is very expensive.
It is, but the European Union gives financial support to some kind of businesses, to young people that want to set up their own business. So part of the money goes to this kind of investment. But also there are many companies, auditing companies and organizations, who also give counseling to new businesses in order to implement this kind of standards. So it's not that hard. It's not that hard anymore.
I mean, it's not hard to implement a standard, but in Serbia, it can be very expensive. I mean, if you're a small scale, I'm not talking about large scale businesses. I'm talking about small scale businesses. It can be very expensive to implement and then pay audits once in 2 or 3 years.
It is in Greece as well because of the high taxes. And that's why I said before the tax system is not attractive. Because you have to make such a huge investment in all of these things when you have to set up a business in Greece.
That's sad, because I'm sure that there are many ideas and many people wanting to start their own businesses. Do you know anything about women in business? Do you have friends that run their own businesses?
In the food sector, not really.
No?
Not really. Maybe some friends that opened restaurants or deli stores, these kind of businesses, they can easily occur in the big cities of Greece. But businesses with production lines, no, it's too hard. Not for a woman, but for a man as well.
Is it common for a woman to inherit family business and then just continue running some large scale businesses? Or is
nowadays
the woman...
it is. Greek women the last years take forward steps to that. So I'm really happy about that, because they are well educated, just like men are. They have much more opportunities. It's still not the same as with men, because companies and bosses are skeptical about hiring women, especially in my age, because they get pregnant, so then they have to stay home and they have to pay their pregnancy
taxes,
days off. So that's the major reason why they prefer to hire men. This is something that we have to overcome. in my country. The scene in Cyprus is better. I mean, Cypriots are a little bit open-minded in that issue, I guess, as I have seen until now. But in Greece, this is an issue, and we have to overcome it. Maternity and professionalism.
I know.
These are two terms that are not going very well together.
I know. It's a problem. I've spoken to several ladies by now, and the thing you said, actually something that is very common in the world, not just for Greece or for Serbia, but also, I don't know, Hungary, Mexico, whatever. Yes. We came to an end of our conversation. Do you have any message that you would like to send to people in Serbia and in the world?
I have to admit that this period of time was really hard for everybody, and especially for people like me who decided to go abroad and stay lonely for a long, long period of time. The social distancing really hurt us, especially the Mediterranean people, because we stopped hugging each other, we stopped touching each other, and that's the new normal for us, to stay distant. This is really weird for us. This is really bad for our psychology and mental health. So we have to find ways to overcome this issue. Stay safe, but stay together and support each other. It was really hard to cope with loneliness in a foreign country, and not able of meeting new people and making new friends because of this situation. But the opportunity here is to overcome all of these things and try to communicate even more than we used to do before. Technology and social media was keeping us apart the last years, as we have seen. But now it's even worse. But we have to turn the game and come closer, communicate online with social media, just communicate about our feelings, about our experiences, and be honest about it. So that's the only thing that we have to say to our end of our conversation. I have to say that we have to stay united. We have to stay together, take care of each other, even from Zoom calls or Skype calls, because that's the most important thing. Keep ourselves together and our mindset healthy, and our psychology as well.
Thank you, Ippolyti. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you for having me.
This is very, very hard for me because this year I haven't been to Greece, and I think of Greece as my second country.
This is a sin. You had to come no matter what.
But we cannot enter Greece. We also come from the, yellow or red country. So we have many cases of COVID.
That's another issue patients. Here. I mean, what is going to be with tourism? I mean, countries like Greece and Cyprus, whose economies are based mostly in services and touristic businesses, had a huge loss. So we need people to come to Greece and Cyprus.
I know, but I cannot leave Serbia. So this is like this is kind of going to Greece. Like talking to you is like going to Greece for me.
Yes.
Okay, and thank you once again.
And thinking of the beautiful place of Chalkidiki.
Yes, of course. And many other places in Greece that I like.
Okay. So hopefully the next year the borders will be widely open. And of course, you are welcome to come to the beautiful island of Cyprus. and because here is like a small paradise, and I'm really happy to be here. So you are welcome anytime.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Don't invite me twice.
In Greek, we overdo this. We invite people all the time, so it's part of our culture as well.
That's why I like you and love Greece. So, thank you for your time.
It was a pleasure.
Dear people of the world, this was my dear friend Ippolyti from Greece and Cyprus. You can always follow us on social media channels like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can always subscribe for our YouTube channel. So until the next podcast, stay safe and stay in good health.